10, 10, 10. I made it to day 10, only 20 more days to go. And I'm so proud of myself because we offer free soup and salad in our break room for lunch. And the soups are always so creamy and good and salty. And the salads, both the one they offer is Caesar and like a garden salad, but they both have cheese. And so I was like, you know what? Now I'm going to set myself up for temptation so I don't even go down there. So since I've been back to work, I went back on last Wednesday or Thursday. So I was like, haven't even been down there. So I'm super proud of myself. Give myself a pat on the back because for lunch I have a protein shake, a little cup of citrus of my fruit, and then veggies and hummus. So that's been my lunch instead of having the soup and salad. So very proud of myself. Just wanted to share that little fun tidbit from work. So today's topic, we're going to talk about the 5 stages of change, which maybe you didn't know that there was 5 stages when making a decision about, well, you could kind of, I guess, relate it to anything, but during your health and wellness journey, you have these 5 stages. And I always say, as soon as you think about making a change, do it, act on it immediately. Because if you sit on it too long, and then it kind of falls to the wayside. So the pre-contemplation stage is basically where there is no thought. There is no thought about making a change. You're just basically like, yeah, I'm good with whatever you have going on. So that's your pre-contemplation. Then contemplation is when you become aware of a desire to want to change. You're just thinking about it. You're like, you know what? I really probably should do something about my health or about the way I eat, or about the way I work out. So you're thinking about it. So now you're in the contemplation. And then the preparation stage is when you're like, okay, I want to work out. Where do I start? Let me call a trainer. Let me go buy a membership at the gym. Let me go to the store and get new shoes because I don't have any shoes. I always would like a reason to go buy new clothes and new shoes. So that's your preparation, is when you're preparing yourself to make these changes. And then you get into the action phase, and that's when you really you're in the grind. And your action phase typically can last a long time. It can last a short time, just depends. But your action stage, I always like to say that I want to stay in my action stage. I want to stay in that stage as long as possible, because what happens if you don't, you get into that. Let's say you got into your action phase, you had a goal of like 20 pounds, and then you lost those 20 pounds. And then all of a sudden we get into you hit your goal and you start to celebrate. And unfortunately for most people, or many people, they get into that celebratory stage and they stay there. That's not part of these 5 stages. That the celebratory stage is kind of one that I made up. So we get into that stage and we stay there a little too long. We might celebrate. And I always tell people, when you're writing a goal, I have a goal form that you fill out, and you have a reward part in the bottom where you fill out what you want that reward to be. And I always say, whatever your reward is, don't make it something that's going to set you back. Your reward should propel you forward. So if let's say your reward, if you lost 20 pounds, I'm going to enjoy a giant brownie sundae. Wrong answer. That's not what you want to do, because that's going to set you back. So I always say, make it like an outfit. Say, if I lose this weight, 10 pounds is typically a size of clothing. So if you're in a size 10, you lose 10 pounds. Now you can go shop for a size 8. So I'm always like, make that goal something that, like, you don't want to buy new clothes. If you know you're going to lose weight, wait until you lose weight, make that be a reward. So that's kind of the fun part of making those goals and making those rewards. So so don't fall into that celebratory stage too long. So because then you get that goal, you celebrate the wrong way, or you have the cake, or you hit that goal and then you stop working out. That's again, staying in that stage too long. You're like, I'm good. And slowly you kind of creep back up. And I'm not saying I've never done that, because I have. I would get, got a little laxed the first summer that I moved here. I moved here about 2 years ago now. And I got a little laxed when I got here. I was like, oh, all these new restaurants, going out to eat. You're happy, you're in love. And so I kind of stayed in my own little celebratory stage a little too long, gained weight, natural, but at least, I know how to lose it, been losing it. It gets a little tougher as you get older, just to forewarn you. But just don't get caught in that stage too long. Try to stay in that action phase. Also, right after the action phase, this is the 5th stage, and that's your maintenance stage. And that consists of the ongoing change in behavior forever. So when I say that I'm in that action phase, it's really a combination between that action and the maintenance. So I'm not in my action stage, I'm not trying to lose any more weight. You know, you've reached your goal, but now you want to maintain that goal. And so that's where, once you've celebrated, now you're going to maintain it. So I lost all my weight, about 135 pounds total between my 2 pregnancies, back in 2006. I think it was June of 2006. All of a sudden I was like, hey, I arrived. I didn't have a set goal in mind when I started my weight loss. I just knew I needed to lose weight, but I didn't say I want to weigh this much and I want to wear this size. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I just knew I wanted to be smaller. So about 2006, I think I weighed 130 pounds. So I basically lost myself. I lost exactly what I had weighed. I lost a whole person. So I went, sorry, totally lost my train of thought. So on that maintenance stage, or so now, back on track, my maintenance stage, I'm there for as long as, you know, I've maintained my weight now since 2006. It's now 2021. You do the math. I can't add and subtract that fast in my head. So anyways, a long time. I continue to always want to stay in that maintenance phase because like I said, when I got here, I celebrated a little too long. I gained weight. It's easy to lose 2 to 3 pounds, 5 pounds. It gets harder and harder as you go. So when you hit that, I always say, give yourself a 10-pound playing field, or really only 5, because like I say, when you hit 10, that's a little harder. So when you start getting 10, 15, 20 pounds overweight, it's a lot harder to get back down, especially as we age, because our metabolism changes. So just be careful of staying in that maintenance phase, or when you're in that maintenance phase, you know, still set goals. Always strive to keep, you know, doing something new. You reach one goal, you set another one. You ran a 5K, now you want to run a 10K. And that might not even be your goal. Maybe it's just, you know, you've lost this weight, but you're still hitting that BMI, you know, is still kind of on the border. So maybe you want to, you know, reach your actual BMI, or maybe you want to reach your actual, you know, the healthy fitness body fat. I always say body fat is more like BMI. All they're taking into consideration is your height and weight. It doesn't take into consideration your muscle. So a really muscular person, their BMI could show that they're over, but when you measure their body fat, they're at their accurate, they're at a healthy level. So maybe those are kind of your goals. So when you reach one, you set one to keep yourself in that action phase or in that maintenance phase, set another, reach it, set another, reach it, set another. Also, so going back to that pre-contemplation or maybe the contemplation. So years ago, Jay and I, my ex-husband, we went out to lunch. The kids were a little bit older. We were already divorced. If you can stay friends, if you have children with your ex and you can stay friends with them, please do so. It's very important for your children. Another topic, another story, but I just want to get that out there. So Jay and I were having lunch, and we were overhearing a conversation. These 2 women were talking about wanting to lose weight and wanting to start a diet. And the one's like, well, I'm going to start it on Monday. You know, it was towards the end of the month. She's like, I'm going to start my diet on Monday. And the other girl's like, well, I'm going to start at the first of the month, which was like another week later. And she's like, I'm going to start on the Monday of the first of the month. And Jay kind of blurted out before he realized it. And he didn't say it loud enough for them to hear. He's like, why don't you start tomorrow? And it was like, boom, something went off in my head. I was like, that is so novel. Like, we are always like, yes, I'm going to start this day and I'm going to start that day. And it's usually always on a Monday, and it's usually always on the beginning of the month. So we just came back from our vacation, and it was in the middle of the week. It was a Wednesday. So I started my 30 day, or, you know, my 30 days in between my 2 vacations in the middle of a week. I think it might have been towards the end of a month or the middle of a month. I can't remember when we came back. But so you do it as soon as you think about it. Because if you sit on it too long, if you stay in that pre-contemplation stage too long, like I said in the beginning, it's not going to happen. So just So get in the game. As soon as it comes to your mind, get into that action phase as fast as possible. And when you get there, try your best to stay on track. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. Don't postpone it. Do it as soon as you feel the urge. Oh, and if you mess up, that's okay. Get back on track as soon as possible. So, for instance, if you're eating breakfast and you're eating healthy oatmeal, whatever, and somebody at work's like, oh, you want a donut? And then you're like, so then you're like, oh, fresh donuts, and you eat a donut. Don't get to lunch and be like, well, I already messed up breakfast, so I might as well mess up lunch. Then you get to dinner, well, I already messed up lunch, so I might as well mess up dinner. No, as soon as you know you've not made the mistake, I don't like to ever say that you made a mistake, but as soon as you realize, okay, I ate that donut, bad choice, boom, I'm done with it, back on track on lunch. Because what happens, again, you'll take that bad thing and it'll go on, it'll snowball effect until like, oh, I already had one bad day, might as well have one bad week, might as well have one bad, the weekend, and the whole month is gone. So as soon as you make a mistake, get back on track. And once again, stay in that action phase as long as possible, or the maintenance stage, but between those two stages, I promise you will see a difference. Sometimes it takes longer for others, so just stay on track. I promise it'll be better than just sitting there and doing nothing. So hope that was a great tidbit. We're going into Friday night. Have no plans, I don't have any of the kids here tonight. So typically we would go out and have drinks and eat, but tonight we're gonna play it cool. Tomorrow, gonna go buy a new bike. So hopefully I'll be able to film the purchase of my brand new tri-bike tomorrow. So anyways, it's good talking to you all. I will see you tomorrow. Love you. Bye. Mwah.